Whenever you pick up a new game, you're obviously going to encounter a learning curve. And depending on the game, that curve can be easy.
I'll be here all day, Is that me? Is that me? I'm the greatest gamer alive, period.
Or it can be infuriatingly treacherous.
Hey, someone with the CC, come in, your lane.
Silence.
No!
I don't have a CC, sorry dude. Turn that off.
I just got f***ing clapped.
So, in an attempt to make onboarding noobs less painful, most games offer some form of tutorial, which most of us skip through as fast as humanly possible. But even if you do take the time to have your hand held through the fundamentals of a new game, the truth is, these guides don't adequately prepare you for what you're going to experience in a competitive match.
Dude, holy f***. Holy f***. Dude!
Last player standing.
But of all the esports that unceremoniously crap upon their newest recruits, perhaps the worst offender is Counter-Strike. A 20-year-old treasure trove of sacred knowledge spawned from sweaty competition and painful experiences. A game that rewards countless hours of grinding and seldomly shines upon those who are, well, less seasoned.
Okay, one CT.
Yeah, they have an op.
Did you see that?
CSGO's tutorial teaches you the absolute bare minimum. It shows you the button you have to press to shoot, the button to crouch, but it doesn't teach you how to shoot. It doesn't teach you when to crouch. And it sure as hell doesn't teach you anything about the intricacies of the in-game economy, utility usage, spray patterns, where to stand, where not to stand, callouts, what a frickin' jump bind is. The list goes on. If you think about it, Counter-Strike is a game that doesn't really want you to play it. I mean, if Counter-Strike's tutorial was a swimming instructor, it would take you out to the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, inject you with an unknown substance, throw you into the water, and whisper the word swim. Of course, you can play with experienced friends, but even then, chances are, you're gonna struggle.
Lose my f***ing mind. Stop baiting your mates, man!
Well, I'm not!
She baited
It's all down to you.
What do I do?
Get in there! Nothing but faith.
Get in there! Get...
Alright.
He's so far.
But fortunately for all of us, there is someone out there who's tried to change all that. And his name is Brent, but you all know him as TheWarOwl. A head-clicking enthusiast turned CS Samaritan who's been trying to better the game's player base for nearly a decade.
You're trash at Counter-Strike, but that's okay.
So how did this altruistic bird of prey become the beloved and trusted go-to for much of CSGO's player base? Why did his approach to teaching earn him the ire of some members of the community? And after years of subjecting himself to the content grind, where does he find the drive to keep spreading his wings? Okay, so before we get into the TheWarOwl's story, or the story of TheWarOwl, if you will, please take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Hell, even throw in a comment if you want. 1 million of them might get us to make the video that you want. Like this one, question mark. Alright, so if you've ever watched a TheWarOwl video, you know the signature greeting.
Greetings, I, TheWarOwl, greets you.
But what you may not know is that he actually has a number of interests outside of saving the bacon of scrubs all over the world. For instance, TheWarOwl is a man of refined taste.
It's just a jalapeno.
Oh god. And he's known to enjoy a good meme.
Is this one of these optical illusions where he's... No! I was gonna say, is this one of these optical illusions where he's spinning so fast that it just looks like he's not spinning?
On top of that, the TheWarOwl is a real stickler for consistency.
Well, anyway, guys, I'm the TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer.
Thank you folks very much for watching. I am the TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer.
And he bears an uncanny resemblance to a cinema legend.
Why do you look like Orson Welles? I think it's time finally to let you in on a little secret. I am Orson Welles.
The French.
Anyway, like a lot of us, the TheWarOwl discovered gaming at a young age. Initially, his interest was purely for entertainment, but as he was introduced to multiplayer games like Team Fortress Classic and eventually Counter-Strike, it became a competitive outlet and exercise for self-development.
Like myself, wasn't really into athletics and wasn't really good at those sorts of things. Gaming was something where I could actually compete and have fun with it and communicate with other people. Because I've always been very shy and kind of socially isolated and that sort of stuff. So gaming was a great way to kind of put myself out of my comfort zone as well, interacting with other people.
And it was through those interactions during a game of Counter-Strike that Brent first discovered his now famous handle.
We were getting absolutely owned the entire time, so I tried to give a moving speech to motivate my team. I said, men, we may be outnumbered, we may be outgunned, we may be outskilled, but at least we have the power of morale. And then someone on my team said, the power of the TheWarOwl?
Now, from instances like that, the TheWarOwl came to realize that there were a lot of people out there playing Counter-Strike without a hope or a prayer. And so he decided to help them out by sharing the knowledge that he had gained through his own experiences learning the game.
I was really into StarCraft 2 at the time, so I was watching the guys who were making all kinds of content for that. I was a big fan of Day 9 and the kind of stuff that he was doing, and I couldn't find that for Counter-Strike. So even though like I wasn't the best player, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just make some of these on my channel and see how they do.
Now, TheWarOwl wasn't a total newcomer when it came to content creation. Previously, he had uploaded cooking and Minecraft videos, but after releasing his first CS Source tutorial in 2011, his channel really began to take off.
That's the kind of content, once I started making it, it really blew up and it did really well. So as a YouTuber, when you see that and you see the numbers and the reaction and all the feedback that people are giving, it's like, oh, people like this. I should make more of this.
But it was in 2012, with the release of CSGO, that everything changed for the TheWarOwl. Now, if you weren't really paying attention to Counter-Strike back then, or esports at large, the release of CSGO was a big moment. It had the potential to unite the disparate 1.6 and Source communities, while also building a new esport in a moment where interest in competitive gaming was rising exponentially. And for TheWarOwl, this was an opportunity to get in as the game spun up, which is exactly what he did.
So, what do you guys think of the beta so far? I think of the game.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like it better.
But if you keep in mind that it's a beta, then it's awesome.
While his early videos included things like competitive commentary and discussion of updates to the game, it was his educational content that attracted the most eyeballs. Acting as thorough introductions to the game's core concepts, TheWarOwl videos were thoughtful, conversational, and above all, informative. The owl name might have been a coincidence, but this dude was dishing out real wisdom.
The P250 is a good way to put the CTs back in a powerful position, and we all know how important that first round is. It usually guarantees you the first 3 rounds, which is very important.
Improvement was at the heart of why the TheWarOwl started his channel, but for him, tutorials were just the beginning. As the Arms Deal update launched CSGO skins in 2013, TheWarOwl created his first Unbox-a-Fragathon video, where he would open a case, but then have to actually use the skin in-game, regardless of which weapon it belonged to.
So that was originally created as a parody of the kind of meta that was going on YouTube at the time, was just posting case openings. Like, oh, I have 1,000 cases, I'm gonna open them, that's my content. So I was like, oh, how can I put an interesting spin on this and kind of poke fun at that?
We'll get an item, and I will have to get 50 frags with that item.
It was quirky ideas like the Unbox-a-Fragathon, and his smooth vocal stylings that first built up the TheWarOwl's early YouTube presence, making him not just an educator, but an entertainer.
What would you like to suckle on your mama's tit a little bit more before you go into the real world?
Who the is that? He's scary.
Yarg. Back in my day, we didn't have any of them fancy hackulars. We used hard work and determination to succeed.
Oh crap.
Counter-terrorists win.
I don't know how to take the bomb out.
Oh, put your E down.
No, I'm using a controller.
Oh, hell, I don't know.
Through his commitment to laugh and learn alongside his audience, the TheWarOwl's popularity on YouTube continued to blossom. And with his channel hitting 100,000 subscribers by mid-2014, he was able to quit his job as a software engineer and fully dedicate himself to the content grind.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever done, but I have taken this opportunity now to pursue my passion, so I'm gonna have to ask you guys for your support going forward in the future, because come July, you have got me full-time.
By the end of that year, TheWarOwl had become one of CSGO's most popular content creators, and as a result, found himself being honored by Valve with an in-game sticker.
You can now put a piece of this YouTube channel on your weapons in the game. This is, in actuality, the coolest thing to ever happen to me. I'm now in my favorite game, the game I've been playing for 15 years, the game I quit my job to make videos about.
But as the TheWarOwl opened himself up more to the CS world in 2015, he also discovered that he wasn't without his critics. In particular, the now infamous AWP tutorial he made attracted the attention of pro player Josh Steele Neeson, who talked negatively about it on stream. The now deleted clip circulated widely, and the stop, scope, flick, fire refrain from the tutorial became a meme of sorts.
1. Stop moving. 2. Scope. 3. Flick the crosshair to the enemy. And 4. Click the left mouse button to fire. That's stop, scope, flick, fire.
Following Steele's lead was pro player Ryan Freakazoid Abadir, who felt the need to further weigh in on the situation.
Dude, you know why TheWarOwl says all that shit, guys? You want me to give you my honest opinion? Even if I die, I won't care. My honest opinion why someone gives so much detail about stuff that he has no idea about in the game, it's because it's his only way to make money in the game.
But the criticism directed the TheWarOwl's way was poorly aimed. From the beginning of his YouTube journey, it was very clear that Brent's intention had not only been getting people into Counter-Strike, but enjoying it. He wasn't interested in turning them into pro players, and he sure as shit wasn't interested in getting involved in any sort of drama.
Like a legitimate criticism, I'm going to look into it and learn from it and try to improve from it. I do things, I make like dumb typos in my videos as well, and people point them out, so. But like legitimate criticism, I think is important to look at and not get too big-headed about. But in terms of drama and people trying to start something, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in engaging with it.
Even though the misplaced criticism created a false narrative that his content was purely, quote, for silvers, Brent, who is global elite, I might add, continued to nurture his ever-growing nest of followers while never taking himself too seriously. And along the way, his viewers learned a lot about him, like that he was into classical music.
Nope, not gonna do it in this video, but yeah, I'm interested in violin.
That he needed some paternal affirmation.
Good kill.
Oh,
Good kill. You're insane.
Look at me, Dad! Are you proud of me, Dad?
He wasn't.
Or that apparently he was into Ronald Reagan, which, if you don't know, stems from his setup tour video where he showed off a Ronald Reagan calendar, a recurring gag that he told us represents both an inside joke and a mystery.
So I don't know. I get these calendars in the mail. I don't know why. And like every year I get a new Ronald Reagan calendar. I don't know who's sending them. I'm like on some list or something. I have no idea. So I just thought, well, this is a strange item. It's a calendar where every month is a different picture of Ronald Reagan. So I thought, let's just incorporate this in a funny way into the video. It's kind of like this strange, like background meme.
I guess you could say that someone sent him unsolicited GIF pics.
Oh, shut up.
Anyway, Presidential tomfoolery aside, before he knew it, the TheWarOwl's channel broke 1 million subscribers in 2017. But it was clear that Brent had grown alongside his audience. He went from making jokes about his weight,
Coke Zero tastes a lot better than Diet Coke, and I'm fat,
to actually doing something about it.
You've probably seen like the old videos, old content, and what I look like a completely different person, I think. I've lost, I think it's at 60 to 65 pounds at this point. I'm at my target weight.
But most importantly, he had finally become more comfortable being in the spotlight, something that he struggled with initially.
I've gone to events and I've met the people who've watched my videos and I've interacted with all kinds of people. And the first time I did that was so absolutely terrifying. I had like a mini panic attack. I went to an event in California and people on the plane recognized me and were like, hey, you're TheWarOwl. And like my face was like flushed red and stuff.
Now, in 2021, the TheWarOwl's channel is halfway to its next 1 million subs. And thanks to the unprecedented popularity of CSGO, his archive of tutorials remains as helpful now as ever. And on top of finding new ways to enjoy the game that launched his journey, along the way, he hasn't been afraid of continuing to spread his wings.
Where I get the most, I guess, growth, the most pleasure out of making something is when those two meet. When I make something that is creative and I'm able to push myself beyond what I'm comfortable with and where the audience really likes it as well.
So in the end, what is it that makes the TheWarOwl's content so vital? He may not talk about himself a lot, but even so, what shines through is the fact that he, like his viewers, is eager to learn. And it's that hunger to improve that set him on his path in the first place. But it also keeps him grounded, so that he can welcome more newcomers into his flock.
I would say that the best experiences that I've had with doing TheWarOwl is meeting the people who have watched my videos. And it's something I get to do very rarely, especially now with everything being locked down. But, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Just like seeing people tell you that just the goofy videos I'm making in my basement has had a positive impact on them. That's been the most rewarding for me.
Regardless of where the TheWarOwl's content journey takes him next, there's no question that through his knowledge and humor, he's been able to help countless people learn to love a game that notoriously doesn't want to love them back. And because of his dedication to growing alongside his audience, it's hard to imagine where the CSGO community would be today without him.
They're in four, they're out, five out.
I failed!
Default. Dead.
I'm out of bullets, guys! Oh wait, I killed them all.
What the hell was that? That was the stupidest round I've ever seen. They thought I was one of them.
Well, the strangest thing I've ever signed was a young man's face. I didn't want to do it. He was like, no, you have to do this. And I said, no, I really don't want to do this. This is a Sharpie. This is going to be on you for a while. I think there's a picture out there of it. So there's TheWarOwl, the way that I sign it, on this young man's face. And I was at a tournament. He had that on there for the rest of it. And I was just like, oh gosh, I wouldn't have had that done to me. Oh my gosh. It was, yeah. So I've signed some very strange things. People bring like funny meme items sometimes to sign. So it's always an enjoyable experience.